making sure they showing up some of these pieces for him. But the schedule's out. And this team has always been known for kind of like running the NFC West. So now we got to see, are they going to still be the best in the West? And well, you got Debo, Joe. So how you feel about this 49ers schedule?
Watching them highlights, what Debo did them touchdowns, I was like, he looked pretty good in them highlights, So I know. That's all I want to say. But as you can see in the notes, they have a form in this. It says 49ers are the only team that does not play a team off of a bye week. They're the only team in the NFL. We're gonna get to the Commanders. We play the most teams that come on the bye week, by the way. All right, which is wild. But they got the last place schedule. And I mean, obviously the 49ers, we know that them last year, they were bad mainly because of the injuries they had. They had a lot of injuries. So we expect them coming back being healthy. Chris McCaffrey, Bernard Ayuk, those guys coming back being healthy. We expect them to be better than last year. And coming in and then they came in last year with the first place schedule, playing the NFC North, playing their own division, right? Stuff like that. So coming back this season, playing the last place division, the last place in every division. What's so funny, Carl? Carl laugh.
The comment.
See what Ty said?
Season, get ready. Dang. I mean, Brock Purdy got paid. I know some people feel like he's underpaid. I mean, I don't think he's underpaid for real. I feel like
crazy.
Overpaid. I don't think he's overpaid. I thought it was right on the money. I felt like around the 50 million mark was ideal. If you would have got and he got 53 million, then you got to think about it. Only 36 a year is guaranteed, something like that. 36, 38 million dollars a year. I think it's 181 for 5 years. Mm-hmm. That's fully guaranteed. So you got to take that into consideration. So I think that's really good. It's a really good contract. So I mean, if somebody like Tua, his contract is kind of similar to Tua. If somebody like Tua couldn't get something like that, then Brock Purdy definitely could get that. So. But I think the 49ers, I mean, their schedule, I mean, it's nothing special about the schedule because they got the last place schedule. They got what the Commanders had last year. They had the last place schedule. And, I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. I feel like outside of the division, I mean, what we got? The Falcons, the Texans, and the Bears, maybe. That are again, the Buccaneers, sorry. That might be really tough opponents. You said who?
Yeah, we could have left that out.
The Jaguars, we're going to get the Jaguars when we make our predictions, man.
TBD.
Because Trevor Lawrence, man, he let me down last 2 years. But I expected to bounce back, and I think the 49ers will be a playoff team next year, though.
Carl?
All right, man. So, first of all, I'm a step up for Dave a little bit, man. 6-11 is just a microcosm of how the season went for them in terms of injuries. You had Chris McCaffrey, I think it was the Bills game, ruptured Achilles or something like that. You just had wicked injuries all throughout the year. Juwan Jennings had to step up to be the number one receiver, and I think he did a pretty good job in that. Now looking to be at the number 2 receiver, or him and Ricky Pierce all be fighting for the number 2 spot. But overall, I think the 49ers are looking cool. They did lose a lot, though, defensively. And I'm not talking about in terms of a lot of people, but they did lose a lot in Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga. Those are 2 big pieces they're going to have to replace. I do like Malik Mustafa. He's the athletic freak, and he's going to hit you. I do like that. And Fred Warner, he's pretty good. He's one of the best linebackers, if not the best middle linebacker in the league. So I think they'll be straight there. I'm looking to see if Ronaldo Green has a big year this year. Second-year play out of Florida State. I really was high on the guy at Florida State. But for sure, I'm looking, like Joe said, I'm looking at the schedule. I think they can really bother Bo Nix and the Broncos. They play the whole AFC West minus the Chiefs, which is absolutely crazy. So they dodged the bullet there. The Bucks, like I said with Joe, that's a game.
No. AFC West is the top. That's a preseason.
Oh, my fault. So they don't play the AFC West.
That'd be crazy, right? The whole AFC West is for the Chiefs.
My fault. But that's actually crazy. They play the whole AFC West as the preseason. but yeah, I'm looking at these games, and like I said, like Joe said too, outside the division, there's not really many big marquee games. like Joe said, man, you got the Texans, which I mean, as you can see, if you can get the CJ Stroud, which their O line is not that improved. They lost Laramie Tunsil in the offseason. You can really bother that Texans offense. The Bucks is one they're gonna have. That's a big test. And then I'm looking. I don't know what the Bears look like. I know they got Ben Johnson. They saying they're going all in, but Caleb Williams on the second year, that has to be seen. I'm looking Giants. No, I mean they got Russ and Jameis Winston, but do I think that turns around the Giants organization? No, I do not. The Seahawks, they have Sam Darnold. We know Sam Darnold be seeing ghosts when games get big. Ask the Lions. So I'm not too, and that's also in the division. We don't Saints. We don't know what that quarterback situation going to be yet. Joe said the Falcons. I'm still iffy on the Falcons. I know a lot of people always come into the Falcons can do this, and they let us down every time. So I don't even know if I consider the Falcons a game yet, to be completely honest with you. The schedule for the 49ers coming off injuries is very, very favorable in my opinion. And they could look to get back on top of the NFC West.
Yeah, from what it was saying, they do have one of the easiest schedules in the league. And like you said, bouncing off of the injury riddle season, I got to take my shots when I can, man. It's the 49ers. So, yeah, Dave, I understand there was some injuries there. And that's probably why y'all went 6-11 and then had to pick right before the Cowboys in the draft. But that's just how life fell for you all this year. You get your quarterback back. There's some questions with Kyle Shanahan. We have a lot of those conversations within the chat about who's a top 10 coach or top 5 coach. This is one of those seasons where you can definitely use this to bounce back because, again, like you said, outside of their division, this is more so in their favor. Now, if they had Debo, I would say there was a clear-cut lock to actually win that division, but then you got to think Brandon Ayuk is still coming back from the ACL injury last year, so he's like, we're gonna be a little bit better. The relationship between him and the chemistry between him and Purdy is gonna be 10 times better. Kittle's now happy, so you got your running back. Your tight end back. So that's 2 pieces of your wide receiving core. Then you got a healthier Christian McCaffrey. So that right there just shows us some questions that you all had last year. He's not on the cover of Madden, so you definitely don't got to worry about that also. And they got 5 primetime games too. So with the strategic buy, I think this is lined up for the 49ers to make a big comeback in a major way, win the division, get in the playoffs, and shake some things up. Because, a lot of teams made the playoffs last year that nobody was expecting. So we'll see.
Yeah, having 5 primetime games and being last place in the division is crazy. But it's the 49ers, though. It's a marquee franchise. And I do want to say this. Robert Saleh also is there. Bringing him back it's another big piece to pick up. And the pushback with Carl said, the problem with the Bears, I think the Bears will be good this year. First of all, the coaching offensively will be much better. And number 2, just like you said with CJ Stroud, but the offensive line, that was Chicago's issue. And they addressed that in the draft and in free agency. So the Chicago Bears, I feel like, will be much better this year. They still got the weapons they had from last year. Like except for Keenan Allen, but they still got their weapons. So I think they'll be better. And the Falcons, think about this. Kirk Cousins had a downpour in the season, and they were 1 win away from being in the playoffs. So I feel like when Michael Penix coming in with a 4-year, I feel like the Falcons will be good because the defense will be better. The defense is still good, so I think the Falcons is a good team to watch for there. But outside of the Falcons, the Bears, and the Texans, Jaguars are iffy. Everybody else has non-divisional games. It's kind of like maybe the Giants might be tough defensively. I don't know, but we'll see. And they put the Giants early in the season, right? Yeah.
November 2nd, like mid-season.
Oh, that's week 9. It's going like this. Sorry, it's going like this.
Yeah, it's mid-season.
Okay.
It don't matter when they play the Giants, they're gonna beat them.
I mean, the early the better.
Yeah.
Oh, they might change the profile.
I'm with Tomo. I don't think it matters when because this is my thing, right? We seen Russell Wilson with the Steelers, and although they say he looked better than Justin Fields, by the end of the year, they was like, why would y'all take Fields out? Like they started to turn back on Russell Wilson. And then Jameis Winston, love the guy, funny guy, protect Jameis Winston at all costs. But we know he prone to throwing picks. He beat the Ravens, but in beating the Ravens, he threw a pick to Kyle Hamilton right in the breadbasket, and he dropped it and came back and threw a touchdown for the win. So
I'm with you. I just think the offensive play calling will be much better in New York. than it was in Pittsburgh. But Brian Daboll over
No, I agree. Over Arthur Smith, I agree.
yeah.
You're right, because Daniel Jones was the quarterback. That might be a little bit of the reason why. But he almost beat who was that the Browns when they played them in the snow?
Oh yeah.
That was the Browns, the snow game.
Yeah.
No,
That's when George
no,
Pickens-
no,
that was
Jameis.
Russ?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Jameis won.
Jameis.
No,
Yeah,
they
oh, yeah,
lost
Jameis
that
won.
game.
Jameis won.
No,
They lost
Steelers
that game.
lost.
No, I thought
Oh.
George Pickens.
Oh
at
no,
the
the
end,
Browns did.
The
No.
Browns won.
Go ahead, George
The
Pickens.
Steelers
What?
did lose because
George
George
Pickens
Pickens
crashed out
chose
on
to
George,
fight somebody
and Greg
instead
Newsom
of
at the
catching
back
a
of the end
touchdown.
zone.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yep.
The Browns
That's
won.
exactly what it was. Yeah. That was crazy, bro.
I remember
crashed
that.
And
out.
that's when I knew.
I remember that dig. I remember a car came in the chat. It was like, "Hey, y'all see George Pickens crashing now?" Like that's all he saw.
Bro, I was at home and I looked. I said, bro, he could have caught the touchdown. He decided to fight. Like while the ball was in the air, he grabbed the cornerback and said, "Hey, bro, you coming with me?" And started to fight. He said, "Forget the game." But that's what happened when you fed up with your quarterbacks and then you go on to Dallas.
Hey! Before you go to Dallas, Tomo, I do want to say this. They do got a little tough stretch right here. Look, they got to play. If the Jaguars are good, they got the Cardinals, Jaguars, Rams, Bucks, Falcons, and Texans in a row.
Yeah, but we were talking about outside the divisional game.
No.
I get what you're saying.
I'm talking about that's kind of a tough stretch for them in their schedule. Because that's one thing I've been trying to look for. Like, where is everybody tough stretch? And that's theirs. Their tough stretch is from week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to week 8. That's a little tough stretch. So if they don't get their act together early, they can start off behind the 8 ball.
But that's if, a big if, the Jags are good.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and you already know how they division games. They're just like the NFC East. He can go either way, but they've been owning a few of these teams in their division. So
yeah,
you never know with the 49ers.
The Rams and Matthew Stafford.
And then the Rams, they done got some weapons. So it's I don't know. Might be a little different. But hey, Joe, go ahead, change that background, man.
I got you.
Hey, bro.